everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm going to be telling you about one of my most recent reads, and that is The Leavers by Lisa Ko. Now when I say this is one of my most recent reads, I mean I finished it literally about 20 minutes ago. This is published on the 26th of April by Little Brown, and I must say a big thank you to them for sending me this copy. I have a lot of thoughts. So in this book we are primarily following two characters, the first of which is Deming. When the book opens, he is 11 years old and he's living with his mother Polly, and she is our second main character, but her narration doesn't come in until about halfway through the book. Now Polly is an undocumented Chinese immigrant, and one day she goes to her job at the nail salon, but she doesn't come back. And it is assumed that she has abandoned Deming. Deming is fostered and then goes on to be adopted by a white couple in upstate New York, so he moves there from the Bronx. And a lot of this book focuses on the complications of that, you know, a Chinese child being adopted and raised by a well-off white couple who are professors. I think if you are interested in the adoption aspects of Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, which is also published by Little Brown, that I think you would really enjoy exploring this more in this book. You see his adoptive parents make a number of mistakes, and I think the first of those, and the most obvious, is the fact that they rename Deming Daniel. When he comes into their care, Deming is 11 years old. He already has a strong sense of self and identity. It's not like they're adopting a newborn, and I think even if they were adopting someone much younger, it still wouldn't be very respectful to change their name. You can really see how his adoptive parents are well-meaning and have good intentions, particularly the mother. The father less so. I think the mother has the best intentions to raise him in a way that is respectful of his roots. I think she's also conscious of the white savior aspect of what they're doing, and I do think she in particular does have very good intentions, but ends up just missing the mark. I would really like to see a book where adoption works out well, where adoption is presented as a positive thing, because obviously it is for so many people. And I think a lot of books that discuss adoption have this strange message that the biological parents must always be better for a child, and particularly the biological mother. I don't think this was the book for that to happen in. I understand why Deming is so disconnected from his adoptive parents, but that's just something I would like to see in more books that I read about adoption. Adoption works out brilliantly for so many people. We see Deming when he is a child, but we also see him when he's about 20 or 21. We further see the strain between himself and his adoptive parents. We see his love for music really highlighted, and I really enjoyed reading about Deming's connection with music. We see him struggling with his future and working out if he wants to go back to college or not. He's sort of been in and out, much to the frustration of his adoptive parents. We also find out that he has had a gambling problem and he owes one of his friends $10,000. And when he receives an email from an old childhood friend, Michael, he realizes that his mother's abandonment wasn't necessarily how he first assumed. And then we begin to see from Polly's perspective, and Polly is his biological mother. We find out more about exactly what happened to her and how her life has changed and what she's doing now. And I think Lisa Ko really navigated her way between the different viewpoints and the different settings and time periods. I think she navigated her way through those brilliantly. There are no section headers that say Deming's section or Polly's section. You can just tell, and I was really impressed by that. However, I did feel like a lot of Polly sections were very info dumpy. I feel like they were just really information heavy. She does address these sections to you, and the you is Deming. So it does make sense why she's doing a bit of explaining here, but as a reader, this made me feel really disconnected from the events of this book. And I would say a lot of this book is written quite passively. A lot of it is recalling and referencing events that happened years previously. And for me, I feel like this book had the right characters and the right story, but it told me about the wrong time. Daniel's story, I think, would have been a lot more interesting if it was told when he was a teenager, or I wanted to see what exactly led to him developing this gambling problem. And with Polly, I was also more interested in the events that happened straight after and a few years after her disappearance. I guess there were just a lot of aspects to these characters that I didn't feel like were explored in depth enough for my liking. In saying all of that, I do think this was a really important story. I think particularly in our political climate at the moment, especially in America, this is a really important story that needs to be told, and it's a story that we need to listen to. I think even if you are someone that feels like they know that it's difficult for immigrants or undocumented immigrants, you will learn a lot about how difficult it really is in this book. While I don't think it was the perfect novel, I'm really excited to see what Lisa Ko does next. I think she's definitely an author to watch. And I do think this book is a really interesting exploration of family, of dual identity, of immigration, of culture. I did really enjoy this one. Let me know down below if you have read this already and let me know what you thought about it. I would love to have a chat about this down in the comments. Do you agree with what I've said? Do you disagree? Let me know down below. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you in my next video.